Election is not until 2025, yet Tiffany Henyard has officially decided she wants to stay as mayor despite the cloud of controversy surrounding her.
Stories new at 6. Embattled Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is mounting a re-election bid. Henyard made the announcement in a post on her Facebook page.
Thornton Township is in chaos, and at the center of it all stands Mayor Tiffany Henyard, renowned for her bold self-comparisons to civil rights icons and her dramatic, no-holds-barred approach to leadership. Henyard has become one of the most controversial figures in Illinois politics. With trustees boycotting meetings, mounting accusations of financial misconduct, and even an ongoing FBI investigation, one has to wonder, is Henyard a fearless leader fighting against the odds? Or is she simply fueling the dysfunction engulfing her administration?
Now to important business in Thornton Township, which hit a roadblock tonight, not because of the weather, not because of logistics, but because 2 trustees refused to show up.
Let's dive into the latest chapter of this political soap opera. Recently, 2 trustees, Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle, staged a boycott of a critical township board meeting. Their absence left the board without enough members to reach a quorum, effectively halting any decision-making, including the appointment of a new trustee to fill a vacant seat. Their reasoning: concerns over transparency, Henyard's alleged mishandling of funds, and what they describe as a chaotic and misdomized agenda. Gonzalez didn't hold back, calling the situation a circus. He openly criticized Henyard's leadership, saying, "We're not going to be part of the circus. We just want responsible adults who can communicate and do the right thing for the citizens." Carlisle chimed in, adding, "Just because somebody is doing something doesn't mean it's progress. But we need to know that progress is actually being made and the best things are being done for the township." The trustees argue that the appointment process for the vacant trustee seat should involve community input, not just a board vote, especially since the appointee would likely side with Henyard's controversial spending plans, something they've repeatedly opposed.
Dawn and Scott, the meeting wrapped up early because 2 trustees, as you mentioned, did not show up. Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle. Without them, not enough board members were present to make official decisions.
So, what was Henyard's response to this boycott? Well, in true Henyard fashion, she didn't miss the opportunity to fire back this time during a Facebook Live rant. She accused the trustees of deliberately sabotaging progress and leaving the township in gridlock. "We are not able to handle the business that you come here for your gas, your water, your rent assistance, because they won't show up," she declared. For Henyard, the trustees' absence wasn't just a political move, it was a personal affront. She painted herself as the hero of the township, fighting to bring progress while being blocked by what she called petty politics.
"You must show up to your scheduled board meetings. I don't care if you agree or disagree, but you must show up to say yes or no, or vote present."
But here's the thing, this gridlock isn't exactly new. The tension between Henyard and the trustees has been building for months. Trustees have accused Henyard of bypassing them on key financial decisions, ignoring their proposals, and generally running the township like a one-woman show. In fact, this was the 3rd meeting in recent months that failed to move forward due to a lack of quorum. At this point, it's less about governance and more about power, a tug-of-war with the township's future hanging in the balance. Let's not forget that Henyard isn't just the mayor of Dolton, she also serves as the supervisor of Thornton Township. And while she's quick to tout her achievements, claiming financial surpluses and reduced deficits, her critics aren't buying it. Gonzalez and Carlisle argue that Henyard's claims of fiscal responsibility lack transparency, with no clear evidence to back them up. They've even accused her of pushing for a new bank account without adequately discussing it with the board, a move they say could give her unchecked access to township funds.
I don't even like to use the term stopping the meeting. We just want to get some responsible adult, communication and try to do the right thing by the citizen.
And then there's the matter of Henyard's public persona. If you followed her on social media or tuned into one of her many Facebook Live sessions, you know she's nothing if not theatrical. During her latest live broadcast, Henyard didn't just defend herself, she went on the offensive. With a mix of defiance and self-pity, she accused her detractors of spreading fake news and conspiring against her. "Why is it always Tiffany? Why am I always the target? Maybe it's because I'm making progress and they don't want that," she said, as her supporters flooded the comments with praise.
Because somebody's doing something doesn't mean progress is happening, but we need to know that progress is actually being made and the best things are being done for Thornton Township.
But perhaps the most eyebrow-raising moment came when Henyard compared herself to Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, and Rosa Parks. Guess what? "I am the 21st century Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks," she proclaimed. "Martin Luther King had the dream, but I am the dream." While her supporters may see this as a bold statement of empowerment, her critics view it as yet another example of her inflated ego. One resident summed it up perfectly, saying, "This is a mayor acting like a middle schooler."
If the board do not show up, we are not able to pay bills. We are not able to handle the business.
At the heart of the controversy surrounding Henyard is her increasingly adversarial approach to governance. residents and trustees alike have pointed out her apparent unwillingness to collaborate or compromise, even on matters that require board approval. For example, Henyard recently proposed a controversial ordinance that would drastically cut the salary of whoever takes her position if she loses the next election. Critics argue that this move is less about fiscal responsibility and more about discouraging potential challengers. Trustee Jason House, who is running against her, called the ordinance a blatant abuse of power, while residents questioned whether such actions serve the community or Henyard's personal agenda. Further complicating matters is the growing divide between Henyard and local small business owners. Several vendors have accused her administration of creating unnecessary hurdles for obtaining business licenses and permits. One trustee noted that Dolton is the only community where you need an attorney just to get a license. These bureaucratic roadblocks have led to frustration among entrepreneurs, many of whom feel that Henyard's leadership is stifling economic growth in the village. Some business owners have even alleged that they were targeted for harassment after refusing to comply with what they described as unethical demands from Henyard's office, a claim that Henyard's team has denied.
Dane Placco. Tiffany Henyard actually has 2 political jobs on 2 public payrolls, as mayor of South Suburban Dolton, or as she calls herself.
Meanwhile, residents are growing increasingly vocal about their dissatisfaction with Henyard's priorities. During recent public meetings, attendees have taken to the microphone to demand answers about the village's finances and safety concerns. One resident summed up the frustration, saying, "We don't hear anything about plans for guns or crime. It's all about protecting her, not the village." This sentiment is echoed by others, who feel that Henyard's focus on self-promotion is overshadowing the real issues facing Dolton and Thornton Township. Despite her claims of progress, many in the community feel that the mayor's administration has only deepened the dysfunction. Henyard's leadership style has become a flashpoint in Dolton and Thornton Township. On one hand, she portrays herself as a trailblazer, someone who's unafraid to challenge the status quo. On the other, her actions often come across as self-serving and divisive. For example, she's been accused of using taxpayer funds to promote her image, with banners and billboards featuring her face popping up across town. One vendor even claimed she was owed nearly $20,000 for banners showcasing Henyard's super mayor persona, banners that were later removed by workers at the request of dissenting trustees. Henyard's reaction: she called the police and demanded that charges be filed against the workers, calling their actions theft of government property.
Every single resident, pay me what you owe me.
And the controversies don't stop there. Henyard is currently facing an eviction lawsuit from her landlord, who claims she and her boyfriend haven't paid rent since August. The landlord, who once considered Henyard a friend, says the couple owes thousands in back rent and even changed the locks to keep her out. For a household that makes over $300,000 a year, I'm asking for pennies, the landlord said, expressing her frustration. Henyard, for her part, has denied the allegations, with her lawyer calling the claims false. Meanwhile, the financial woes of Dolton and Thornton Township continue to make headlines. A preliminary report from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was hired to investigate Dolton's finances, revealed that the village's general fund balance dropped from a surplus of over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of more than $3 million by May 2024. Lightfoot also flagged questionable credit card purchases, including over $40,000 spent on Amazon in a single day. Henyard has repeatedly dismissed these findings, insisting that her administration has brought financial stability to the township. But without concrete evidence to back her claims, many residents remain skeptical.
We're walking through Dolton. All right, we're in Brightwood now. We are in Godly now. We in Bloomington, baby.
As if that weren't enough, Henyard's re-election campaign is already stirring up controversy. Despite the mounting scandals, she's doubling down on her bid for a second term, announcing her candidacy with the same level of confidence that has defined her tenure. "I am running for re-election, and I will win in a landslide," she declared during a recent public meeting, her campaign slogan, "The People's Mayor." However, her critics argue that her re-election bid is less about serving the community and more about maintaining control. Trustee Jason House, who is running against her, has vowed to restore order and transparency to the village, calling Henyard's leadership chaotic and self-serving.
It looks like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest concern.
The stakes couldn't be higher. With elections just months away, the question on everyone's mind is whether Henyard can survive the wave of criticism and legal challenges coming her way. Will her claims of progress and unity resonate with voters? Or will the scandals finally catch up to her? And what about the trustees who have been boycotting meetings? Can they offer a viable alternative? Or will their absence only deepen the dysfunction? In the end, the story of Tiffany Henyard is one of contradictions. She's a leader who talks about unity while alienating her colleagues. She claims to champion transparency but resists accountability. And while she casts herself as a modern-day civil rights icon, her administration has been dogged by accusations of financial mismanagement and abuse of power. Whether you see her as a visionary or a liability, one thing is clear: Henyard isn't going down without a fight. So, what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard the fearless leader Dolton and Thornton Township need, or is she driving them further into chaos? Can the trustees find a way to break the gridlock? Or is the township doomed to remain in political limbo? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama. Until next time.